Welcome to the Kraken Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen, and Krakens and all manner of aquatic sea life. I am your host, the Kraken, and we are here to talk about Season 6 fresh content. So today we are going to look at the season without factions. This is right, ladies and gentlemen. We have no factions this season. None. You build your own factions this season. It's pretty interesting. So we've got... each group is going to make 5 fellowships that can combine together to make one kingdom. And this is the map right here that we're looking at. This map that we've got on here. So if we're looking at it, Eriador, Enedwaith, the Wold, Iron Hills, Mordor, Bay of Belfalas, the Umbar Coast, and Harad. So those are the territories that you can spawn in, and of course Amon Lank, which is the neutral territory where the main ring of power will be held. And so let's go and talk a little bit about some of the upsides, downsides of each of these locations. So we'll just go clockwise. Let's start with Eriador. Eriador is going to be very, very food rich, as it typically is, as well as a little bit of iron up in the top parts, but mostly it's going to be a food place and wood. Food and wood. Also in Eriador, you do have a lot of the really good neutrals. You've got your keepers, some Dunlendings, which will be close between Eriador and Enedwaith, depending on how they spawn. Now, of course, we have no information on whether or not the resource generation is the exact same as prior seasons, or if it's going to be completely different, but we can make general assumptions. Now, Eriador does have only 2 natural borders, which is kind of interesting, one of them to a neutral territory. So Enedwaith and Eriador are going to be probably solid prime picks for this season. Let's go ahead and talk about Enedwaith here for a little bit. Now, the capital is surprisingly well protected, which is fantastic. Enedwaith, again, close to a lot of really good neutrals. Now, downside is it's kind of going to be on the border of quite a bit. If they get targeted by any of the kingdoms that arise in the Wold, Bay of Belfalas, or Eriador, that might not be so happy for them because they don't really have anywhere to go. Unless they push out. So they're going to have to be a very aggressive territory if you pick Enedwaith. As well as the Wold. The Wold, you have to be the most aggressive or the most insanely diplomatically talented group that you can put in there, because the Wold is surrounded on all sides by enemies or allies, depending on how you diplomatically choose to do that. And kind of just generic resources there. It's right in the middle, so you've got food, you've got wood. If they push towards Mordor, they can get a little bit more of the stone and iron. If they push out towards Enedwaith, more of the neutral units. Relatively close access to Eagles, not that far away, just a little bit north of there. And so that's going to be interesting. Now, Bay of Belfalas is, Gondor. And their capital will be the absolute most difficult capital to capture this season, regardless of who's there. You have to go through a significant amount of rivers and terrain hazards to get to it. So that's going to be a very solid choice if you want a faction that's going to, a region that's going to keep your capital in check as best you can. On the coast, tons of food, more food than all the other factions that we've talked about so far, but very, very limited amount of actual resource space. It's a small region, so you're going to have to expand early again. And naturally, you'd probably want to expand either towards Enedwaith, the Wold, or the Umbar Coast. Mordor is, of course, a difficult place to get into, though that may be a little different this season with the addition of Harad and the expansion on the east side of the map. Which brings us to the Umbar Coast. Congratulations, they've actually put Umbar where it belongs on the map this season, so I'm excited about that. The Umbar Coast is going to be supposedly very resource rich, farmer's heaven. If you're a farmer and you want to just play this game to farm, which is not at all how I play the game, but if that's how you want to play the game, the Umbar Coast is one of the places for you, as well as Harad. Harad and Umbar Coast are supposed to be resource havens, and as such, I'd say, get down, get dirty, get your farming on. And in Harad, their capital is probably going to be hidden behind several layers of rivers. As if you guys remember before, when the map was a little bit smaller, there was tons of rivers down in that neutral territory of near Harad. And now we are no longer near Harad, we are actually in Harad. Let's move in forward to Mordor. Mordor will probably remain relatively unchanged. However, there is a massive inclusion that Mordor never gets because Mordor is always resource screwed. They never get food. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today is the day Mordor has food to feed the orcs. Those orcs will no longer be starving and hungry for man flesh. They are hungry for grain. And they will get it from the Rune territory, which is included into Mordor now. The capital of Mordor, I'm not sure from the map. It almost looks like it's Mad or Tog. So I guess we'll see how that plays out. It's surprising that it's not Barad-dûr, but I guess we'll see how that works. And of course, Mordor is well known for its lack of resources, but excellent defensive starting position. So they have a lot of options now. Of course, they have five regions on their borders that they're Mordor's borders. That might be the title of this video. I don't know, but they have 5 regions next to them that are going to have to be diplomatic to some extent because you can't defend against 5 regions full of people, assuming they're full of people. And Iron Hills. Iron Hills is the last one to talk about here. As Amon Lank is neutral, it's going to remain neutral. I don't believe that you can contest that until you are able to capture scout towers, which is a new mechanic in this game. When you control scout towers, it's supposed to give you information about the region, including the locations of enemy troops, which is really fantastic. You can really kind of set your offense and defensive up if you control those scout towers. Now, Iron Hills is capital. Looks like it's relatively well secured, kind of the same as it was before. Now, Iron Hills has a lot of stone typically, which is an interesting thing because in this season, stone can be converted to gold. Troop upgrades, neat. Hiring neutral units, neat. I'm a big fan of what the Iron Hills looks like here. I think they have a very good starting position. However, they are far from just about everything except for the ring. And of course, you can't go for the ring right away. It never works that way. It could be different this season, but I'm gonna put my Kraken chips on that you can't do that this season as well. So they probably have to either go into Mordor or go through Amon Lank to get to someone else. So they've kind of got. That's probably another farming land up there, only they don't really have much food. They do have the lake, which is nice, and you have those islands in the lake, and it looks like they expanded the map just a little bit to the east there. So there's probably some food down there, which is a little bit different. If you've ever played Erebor, you know that they have iron, and they have a ton of stone. So we'll see how that plays out. Real short video here today, guys. I know I didn't cover a lot of the content in Season 6, but we'll be getting through that as the course of the season progresses. Of course, it starts here in about 10 hours. Nope, sorry, 11 hours is when the season starts. So I hope this was informational for you guys. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, put a comment down below on what kind of videos you want to see in this upcoming season. And yeah, ominous bubbling to you all, and you guys have a merry day.